Get ready to dive into the captivating saga of Venezuela's economic rise and fall. Join us as we uncover the dramatic twists and turns that have shaped the destiny of this South American nation. From unprecedented prosperity to dire crisis, the story of Venezuela is nothing short of gripping. Welcome to our exploration of Venezuela's economic journey.
Ha llegado la hora de la recuperación económica y necesitamos
of Venezuela. Donald Trump, hands up Venezuela.
¡Ya a las 6 de la mañana! ¡Ah! ¡Me van a
The influence of Venezuelan petroleum. Venezuela's oil wealth has played a pivotal role in shaping both its domestic economy and its position in the global arena. With one of the largest oil reserves in the world, Venezuela has long been a major player in the international energy market. The abundance of oil has provided the country with significant revenue streams, making it a key exporter of crude oil and petroleum products. The oil industry has been the backbone of Venezuela's economy for decades, contributing significantly to the country's GDP and government revenue. Oil exports have been a primary source of foreign currency, allowing Venezuela to finance imports and fund domestic development projects. The oil sector has also driven economic growth, attracting foreign investment and stimulating various related industries such as construction, transportation, and manufacturing. Venezuela's status as an oil-rich nation has given it considerable geopolitical influence, both regionally and globally. As a major oil exporter, Venezuela has been able to wield significant leverage in international relations, forming alliances and partnerships with other oil-producing nations. Additionally, the country's oil reserves have attracted the attention of major powers, leading to diplomatic engagements and strategic interests in Venezuela's energy sector. Despite the economic benefits of oil wealth, Venezuela has faced numerous challenges associated with its dependence on petroleum. The volatility of global oil prices has made the country's economy susceptible to external shocks, leading to fluctuations in government revenue and budget deficits during periods of low oil prices. Furthermore, the reliance on oil exports has hindered diversification efforts, leaving Venezuela vulnerable to disruptions in the energy market. The birth of Venezuela's oil economy. The discovery of oil in Venezuela in the early 20th century marked a transformative moment in the country's history. Prior to the oil boom, Venezuela was primarily an agrarian society with a relatively small economy. However, the emergence of oil as a major industry reshaped the nation's economic landscape and laid the foundation for its modern development. The exploration and development of Venezuela's oil resources began in the early 20th century, driven by the efforts of foreign companies seeking new sources of energy. The first commercial oil well was drilled in 1914, heralding the beginning of Venezuela's oil boom. As oil production expanded, foreign investment poured into the country, leading to the establishment of major oil companies and the rapid growth of the petroleum industry. Rise of Juan Vicente Gómez to power played a crucial role in the development of Venezuela's oil economy. Gómez, a military strongman who came to power in 1908, forged close ties with foreign oil companies and granted them lucrative concessions to exploit Venezuela's oil reserves. Under his authoritarian rule, the oil industry flourished, contributing to Gómez's consolidation of power and the modernization of the country's infrastructure. The influx of oil revenue transformed Venezuela's economy, fueling unprecedented growth and prosperity. The country's newfound wealth allowed for investments in infrastructure projects, social programs, and industrial development. Cities expanded, new industries emerged, and living standards improved for many Venezuelans. However, the benefits of the oil boom were not evenly distributed, leading to disparities in wealth and opportunities. The post-World War II era witnessed Venezuela's emergence as a major player in the global oil market. Booming oil prices fueled unprecedented prosperity, leading to a rapid influx of wealth and modernization. However, this period also laid the foundation for Venezuela's dependency on oil revenues, as the government became increasingly reliant on oil income to fund its budget and sustain economic growth. During the oil boom of the mid-20th century, Venezuela experienced rapid economic expansion fueled by soaring oil prices and increased production. The country's GDP grew at a staggering rate, driven by the export of crude oil and petroleum products. This period of prosperity was characterized by significant investments in infrastructure, industrial development, and social programs, lifting millions of Venezuelans out of poverty. Despite the economic gains of the oil boom, Venezuela's heavy reliance on oil revenues created vulnerabilities that would later come to haunt the country. The government became increasingly dependent on oil income to finance its budget, leading to a lack of diversification in the economy. As a result, fluctuations in global oil prices had a disproportionate impact on Venezuela's fiscal stability, exposing the country to economic volatility and external shocks. Challenges of economic diversification. Despite the recognition of the need for economic diversification, Venezuela struggled to reduce its dependence on oil revenues. Efforts to develop other sectors of the economy, such as agriculture, manufacturing, and tourism, were often undermined by the dominance of the oil industry. Additionally, government policies aimed at promoting diversification were hindered by corruption, bureaucracy, and inefficiency, further exacerbating the country's dependency on oil. The transition from dictatorship to democracy in Venezuela was marked by political instability and economic volatility. Despite the country's newfound democratic institutions, power struggles and military coups continued to plague the political landscape. Meanwhile, the economy soared on the back of booming oil prices, masking underlying structural vulnerabilities and economic imbalances. Following the death of Juan Vicente Gómez in 1935, Venezuela embarked on a path toward democracy, marked by a series of political reforms and the establishment of democratic institutions. However, this transition was fraught with challenges, including power struggles between political factions and the influence of the military in politics. Despite these obstacles, Venezuela held its first democratic elections in 1947, marking a significant milestone in the country's political evolution. While Venezuela grappled with political instability, the economy experienced unprecedented growth and prosperity during the mid-20th century. Booming oil revenues fueled economic expansion, leading to the modernization of infrastructure, increased industrialization, and improvements in living standards for many Venezuelans. However, the benefits of this economic prosperity were not evenly distributed, exacerbating social inequalities and fueling discontent among marginalized communities. Military rule and authoritarianism. The political landscape in Venezuela was characterized by a series of military coups and dictatorships throughout the mid-20th century. Military leaders, such as Marcos Pérez Jiménez, seized power and ruled the country with an iron fist, suppressing political dissent and curtailing civil liberties. Despite their authoritarian tactics, these regimes maintained stability and pursued economic development initiatives, albeit often at the expense of democratic principles and human rights. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, Venezuela underwent a transition to democratic governance, marked by the restoration of civil liberties, the establishment of political parties, and the holding of free and fair elections. This period of democratization was hailed as a victory for Venezuelan society, signaling a departure from the era of military rule and the consolidation of democratic institutions. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening exploration of Venezuela's economic history. As we reflect on the challenges and opportunities facing this nation, let's remain vigilant and engaged in shaping a brighter future for Venezuela and its people. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on global economics and geopolitics. Until next time, stay informed and empowered.